Happy Easter, everyone. We invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again, hymn number 61 in your books. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. I don't know that I've ever seen this room so colorful. I love it. We gather today in the presence of an old, old story, of the tomb found empty, of death undone by love, of life breaking forth where none was expected. We come with hearts tender with weariness, spirits pressed thin by all that the world demands, vision clouded by conflict, collapse, and the ache of disconnection. And yet we come, because even now the crocuses push through frost, even now the salmon come home, even now the people rise. The earth sings her resurrection in every green shoot and bird call, in every act of courage to keep showing up, to keep tending, keep hoping. So let us arrive as we are, sprouting seed or budding tree, tired or tender, brave, becoming. Let us meet one another in this beloved community and remember the abundance that still pulses beneath the soil, waiting to break through. Let us be present to this moment together. On this celebration of Easter and Earth Day, come let us worship in a spirit of fierce, resistant hope. As we begin our service, as we always do, let us take a moment to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Duwamish people. Stewards of this land in the past and the present, let us feel ourselves firmly planted on this ground. And with humility and gratitude, let us honor this land and the Duwamish tribe and commit to our role in the story of repair of our relationship with this land and with its people. And welcome all, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves, however your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no creed, no test of faith, no oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another, promises to healing a hurting world within and beyond these walls. Welcome, everyone. I'm sorry, I don't usually do this part, but I would like to invite Gracie Bucklew to come light our chalice. As they do so, may we be like the first hint of color in the opening daffodil. May we be renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays. May we be ready to emerge with new energy and face a new day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of the warmth of spring into this space. And I invite you to join in our congregational affirmation as Gracie lights our chalice. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Good morning. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist congregation. I'm Jill Fleming, a member of the worship team, and it is a great joy to be gathering with you for this service, our special gathering for Easter and Earth Day, celebrating the abundance of springtime. If you are with us for the first time, or the first time in a while, welcome. We are so glad that you are here, both here in the sanctuary and joining online, to make some space in your life to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website, which you can do by scanning the QR code on the card in the pews, where you can fill out a welcome form so we can get to know you a bit better, and send you our weekly electronic newsletter, the Westside Week. It is good to see familiar and new faces today. Let's take a few moments now to greet our neighbors around us. It's always like putting the genie back into the bottle to get you all to sit down again. But let's continue those conversations after the service at coffee hour. Each week, congregants who agree to light our chalice are given a chance to respond to a question. This is a chance for us to get to know them better and to invite more voices into our chancel. Gracie Bucklew has been asked to offer a piece of poetry that is meaningful to them.
Good morning. This is Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Reading Wild Geese offers me perspective when I need it most. When I'm feeling totally wrapped up in the urgency of my immediate problems, when I'm feeling utterly hopeless or lost, Mary Oliver reminds me of the inexorable turning of the rest of the world. The rain continues to fall, wild geese continue to fly, and I have a place in this family of things. Thank God. I am not alone, and this, whatever it is not the end of the world.
I invite you all to rise once again in body and spirit, or spirit. And we're going to sing Morning Has Broken, which is hymn number 38.
It is now our time for all ages. Marco Deppe will be sharing today's story, assisted by Lisa Maynard. Anyone of any age who wishes to hear our storyteller better, please come on down to sit on the floor or in the front pews. Today's service is multi-generational, meaning that children and youth will return to their seats and remain in the sanctuary after the story.
Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna introduce Wangari Maathai, a woman from Kenya on the continent of Africa. The Woman Who Planted Millions of Trees. This book is by Frank Previtt. I did abridge it quite a bit. And illustrated by Oretia Fronti. I'm telling you this story because Wangari inspired a little boy in Germany, where I'm from, to take action and plant trees. And he, in turn, inspired a lot of other kids to plant trees, among them my two children, Sarah and Tim. And this is how I learned about her. But in learning more about her, I realized how many millions of people she has inspired. And I hope you will be inspired too. Lisa, we're gonna sing a quick song in between. Yeah.
So this song is called Solace of Rock. It's a call and response. So I will start and then you'll respond. You'll just copy me. So the first part goes, solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock,
Rooted like a tree.
rooted like a tree.
I am here.
I am here,
Standing strong.
standing strong,
In my rightful place.
in my rightful place.
That's it. Nice work.
We're gonna do this a few more times. Next slide. Wangari has 4 brothers and sisters. The girls can't go to school at that time in Kenya. As the oldest girl, Wangari has to help in the house with the younger siblings and on the farm. Her mother shows her how to plant a little garden and teaches her that a tree is worth more than its wood, an expression that Wangari never forgets. Wangari's big brother, Nderitu, asks their mother an important question. Why doesn't Wangari go to school? A few days later, Wangari is running joyfully to school with her brothers and cousins. She is very thankful for her brother to ask that question and for her mother for making the decision that will change her life. She receives her high school diploma at a time when very few African women even learned to read.
Solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock,
Rooted like a tree.
rooted like a tree.
I am here.
I am here,
Standing strong.
standing strong,
In my rightful place.
in my rightful place. Senator John F. Kennedy, a future US president, invites 600 young Kenyans to come to the United States to pursue their studies. And Wangari is one of them. For the next 5 years, Wangari learns how different things are in the US. She sees a great, free, independent country, even though at the time some schools and other places were still forbidden for black people. It is in the 1960s that African Americans fight for equal rights. And at the same time, in faraway Kenya, black people have been demanding independence from British rule, and in 1963, Kenya became free. So when Wangari returns home, she travels through her country to study the wildlife, and she is shocked. Wild animals are rare now. Forests have been cut down to make room for plantations for a few rich people to grow food. The rivers are muddy. The fertile soil has been washed away by the rain because there are no tree roots to hold it back. Now, Wangari knows how she will make use of her studies. She will explain to the world's greatest leaders and to Kenyan farmers that forests are one of the most treasures of humanity. Wangari knows that a tree is worth more than its wood, as her mother taught her. A tree is a treasure that provides shade and fruit, pure air, nesting places for birds and insects, and inspiration for poets. But change happens slowly, and Wangari knows there's no time to lose. So in 1977, she creates the Greenbelt movement and starts to plant trees immediately. She travels from village to help create tree nurseries across Kenya, which she entrusts to the local village women. But the government officials who built their fortunes by destroying forests are trying to stop Wangari, but she can't be quiet. With countless sisters to help, she, who belongs to the leopard, and that's what her name means in her native Kikuyu language, doesn't get discouraged. She keeps planting forests.
Solid as a rock,
Solid as a rock,
rooted like a tree.
rooted like a tree.
I am here,
I am here,
standing strong,
standing strong
in my rightful place.
in my rightful place. Wangari is now a threat. Standing up against the authoritarian president is dangerous. He's a powerful man who orders police to shoot at crowds of peaceful demonstrators. She's harassed and imprisoned several times, but she does not give up. Wangari wants to make democracy grow like trees. She knows that if her people work together, the laws of her country will be decided by all people and become stronger. Wangari quickly realizes how many more battles she must fight in order to save the trees. So she runs for office several times and creates a environmental political party. President Daniel Arap Moi finally loses power in 2002. The country gets a new constitution and Wangari is elected to parliament. The new president appoints her assistant minister of the environment, natural resources and wildlife. And for Wangari, now affectionately called Mama Miti, the mother of trees, this means she can finally work to make Kenya a fair nation where little girls can go to school too. Today, there are more trees in Kenya than there were when Wangari began her work. And democracy has been established. The Greenbelt movement still protects trees. For her work, Wangari Maathai was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize on October 8, 2004, as the first African-American woman to receive that prize. So, if Wangari inspired you to plant something, Reverend Carter and members of the social justice team, they will hand out some seeds after the service. Let's close with a little repeat, another little repeat after me, but this one is not singing. I'm going to do some movements. Would you please rise in body or spirit for this? Stand like a tree.
Stand like a tree.
I said it wrong. I'm going to do it again. No, I got it. Be like a tree in pursuit of your cause.
Be like a tree in pursuit of your cause.
Stand firm.
Stand firm.
Grip hard.
Grip hard.
Thrust upward.
Thrust upward.
Bend with the winds of change.
Bend with the winds of change.
And learn tranquility. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And if you your seat.
Thank you, Marco and Lisa. In a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering, when we take time to actively support Westside UU congregation and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those donations not designated as your pledge contribution. For the month of April, our community giving recipient is our own Westside Congregational Care Fund. The Congregational Care Fund is a pool of money that Westside congregants can confidentially request support from when they are going through a difficult time. For example, this money could be used to fund hotel rooms for people in housing transition, or to cover that last little bit of utility bills, or to call in professional support to clean up after fires or floods. You can give by text by sending a message with the $sign and the amount you want to give to the number on the screen. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to give their gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among us shortly. If you'd like your gift to be recorded from coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now, please enjoy this gift of music from our musicians.
Thank you, everyone, for giving as you are able to support Westside and our Congregational Care Fund in particular. Your generosity of time, treasure, and presence are gifts that sustain this community. Next, we have a musical performance based on the piece of Wild Things by Wendell Berry, beginning with a film produced by the On Being Project and with images submitted by our community of wild places that have brought them peace.
The peace of wild things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
And now our reflection will be shared by Riley Anderson, a member of our environmental justice group.
Hello. When I was born in the 1950s, about half the population still kept a cow, some chickens, fruit trees, and a vegetable garden. When I was young, every adult in America had lived through the Depression. These little farms had gotten them through. The practices they passed on to me were buy nothing, waste nothing, recycle everything, and grow food in your garden. My mother and my grandparents ate from their organic gardens, and my cousins and I have continued this for most of our lives. I entered adulthood with the first Earth Day. The environmental movement confirmed the value of these ideals of saving, reusing, and recycling, and organic gardening as useful for saving the planet, and I was thrilled to be an environmentalist. Recently, in my garden, I grew and froze exactly the amount of fruits and vegetables I would eat in a year. It seemed very normal to my waste-not upbringing to think and plan this way. And so it gave me peace and satisfaction that I was right-sizing the garden to my needs. But then one weekend, my neighbor built a little shed behind his garage on the alley across the street. In it, he put a refrigerator and shelves. Soon, people started coming by regularly to put food in it, and neighbors began to come and take food home. One grandmother came by to get food every day for her family 3 houses down from me. She came and picked some of my raspberries too, and she went like this, "I love you." And she said, "I need for baby." So, day and night, housed and unhoused neighbors came and got food, and other people brought boxes of food and shoes and toys. Now, the idea of right-sizing my garden to my needs seems kind of silly. Now I'm looking forward to growing extra for others as a new spiritual practice. The bigger my garden, the more soil I restore to health in my little corner of the planet. Gardening used to be a somewhat superfluous hobby because, honestly, I could just buy organic food at PCC, and I can afford that. But now gardening has another purpose. There's one more practice that got people by during the Depression, and that was mutual aid and food cooperatives. I remember my old friend and coworker and fellow labor activist, Bill Core, telling me about his dad. His dad became a renowned and beloved community leader when he organized people in Seattle's Rainier Valley to grow vegetables on their city lots and trade them in a food co-op during the Depression. Bill said, "That's how people got by. My dad's organizing of food co-ops helped a lot of people survive." We may have some very hard times ahead. Harder times have already started with cuts to Head Start and school lunch and other programs people depend on to survive. My neighbor's little food pantry and my stewardship of this little piece of earth in my organic garden will be more important than ever. Something I already like to do now becomes more important to others and a spiritual practice for me. I planted my vegetables along the sidewalk so that I will meet and talk to neighbors and will be right there to offer them food to take home. I'm currently doing the Rise for Freedom 7-week activist training, which is co-sponsored by the Unitarian Universalist Association. They tell us to organize by connecting with people around things you already do that bring you joy. People will not join your cause because they are drawn to the cause, they told us. People will join your cause if they are drawn to you, if they like you. If you connect with them and invite them to share your joyful activities, they will listen to what you have to say. If you have a garden of shrubs and flowers, maybe you can plant some cabbages and squash in among the daphnes and azaleas to give to the food bank. Grow them close to the sidewalk and work nearest to the sidewalk at the time of day when people are walking by. Ask people how things are going for them. Start a little organic garden club with your neighbors and get them to commit to each growing a couple of things for the food bank. There are babies out there who need you to grow them some raspberries. Thank you.
As the wheel of the year turns from winter to spring and the seasons change, we are jolted out of linear time. We remember that this life is not only a ceaseless march forward into uncharted territory. No, the world around us declares that time moves more like a spiral dance. We come around to where we have been before. Spring shakes us awake, demands that we feast our eyes on the colors, implores us to stop and smell the flowers, and invites us to pause and to quiet ourselves so that we may listen to the chatter of the birds. It may feel like awkward timing some years, maybe this year. We are so busy with our own worries, worrying over the future or meeting our needs in the present, real, valid, heart-trembling worrying. We don't feel like we have the bandwidth to pause and enjoy the bright unfolding of the spring, let alone to make space for an inflorescence, a blossoming in our souls. Yet here we are. Spring demands that we get it together and understand that abundance is the way of the world, even if we're not living that way. The old stories of this season help us with that. Last week, we spoke of the Passover story. The Passover Haggadah says, "Go, leave your confinements, whether you are ready or not, because freedom is calling you." And we have the Easter story, which says that the violence of this world is not the whole story. The angry mobs and the deputies of tyrants may inflict damage, but everlasting love still gets the final word. So this Sunday in our community, we are honoring both Easter and Earth Day. These are celebrations with very different origins, but resonant themes. On Easter, we Unitarian Universalists focus on honoring the all-inclusive divine love that a carpenter prophet, Jesus of Nazareth, spent his life preaching about. And we remember the community that he created that carried on his message after Jesus was murdered by the Roman authorities. We recognize on this day that a love that demands dignity for all is dangerous to empires, so much so that they would kill its messengers. But yet human violence cannot touch the power of a love that calls us into beloved community. Easter is about this triumph, symbolized in the story of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection 3 days later, and the work that his followers did to carry on his legacy. But we have to remember that Easter is also about grief. Even in the resurrection story, loss comes first. Mary stands weeping at the tomb. The disciples hide in fear behind locked doors. The promise of new life does not erase this pain. Rather, new life is born out of sorrow. It comes through it, slowly and tenderly, as love speaks all of our names and calls us back into the world in our times of grief. In many Christian traditions, the season of Lent, and especially Good Friday, is a time for fasting. In this time, through the act of cutting back, practitioners acknowledge their disappointment that the society that Jesus lived in was not ready to fully take on his teachings. Instead of honoring his leadership, he was lost too soon. The resurrection on Easter morning brings comfort, but it cannot take away the sadness that is also in this story. So too, when we celebrate the resurrection of nature in the springtime, we would do well to remember that grief is part of this story as well. Not all survive the harsh, cold months of winter. Some animals, humans too historically, miscalculate or otherwise don't prepare enough to last till spring. We see sprouts and flowers burst forth in excitement too soon and get caught by a surprise frosty night. Spring offers us a living resurrection, but it does not take away the losses of winter. An Earth Day, too, a day when we praise the beauty of this blue boat home we live upon, we honor our connection with it, and we must also grieve the destruction that is being unleashed upon it by human activity. We marvel at the beauty of wild places on this day and acknowledge that they are desperately in need of protection. We find comfort in the constancy of the seasons, even as we worry that that constancy is becoming less reliable. Still, we want to rejoice in the feeling of triumph that the flowers offer us, even if it feels tenuous or complicated. So today, for you, for me, for all of us, let this be a day that holds these complex pieces of these stories. Let us unapologetically bask in the joy of sunlight and the sensory feast of the world waking up again. Let us mourn for the aching places of this earth home and the brokenness of human relationship with it. And let us fight for ecosystems and the climate even when we aren't sure what that fighting will result in. Let us celebrate our faith in divine love, our spiral dance toward abundance and beloved community, our commitment to a time and place where the human family lives whole and reconciled, and all souls are welcomed as a blessing. May we be comforted in our faith and also stirred up into action. I am inspired by these words published this week by the Quaker educator Parker Palmer. He writes, "Note to self, make this Easter Rise and Resist Day, a day of liberation from all that constrains you from speaking truth to power. Make it a day when you practice embracing the threat of resurrection, liberating yourself from fear, and finding ways to push back on all that diminishes your life and the lives of your siblings." May these words be our blessing as we honor the life and death and resurrection of a prophet. May we remember that each of us may be called to be prophetic too. May we find all the ways that we can to be purveyors of abundance. And now will you join me in an embodied meditation? Last year on Easter, I wrote this meditation on seeds and I shared it with you all. And this year I've adapted it to better emphasize themes of struggle and courage that I feel like we need right now. As we move through it, I hope you feel a sense of courage all throughout your body, and remember that feeling as you go forth from here. So first, you may want to take a minute to get settled in your seat. This might look like putting your feet flat on the ground, sitting up straight. You can roll your shoulders back, let them relax. If you are feeling a little wiggly, maybe you want to stand up. Just come to a place of stillness. I invite you to place your hands on your belly. Feel it expand and contract with each breath. You may want to slow your breathing. Let your belly fill up before letting the air out. Find some stillness even in the rise and fall of your breath. As we sit here breathing together, let us remember that this moment is like no other moment. It is fresh and new with opportunity. This is always true, but every moment is fresh and new, but it is easier to remember in these spring days. We take in the fresh air, scented with flowers, the warmth of lengthening sunlight, the animals stirring around us. But we also know beginnings aren't always easy. Sometimes they come when we are weary. Sometimes We must grow even when we have to push through challenges and the world feels heavy. Let us try something together. Let's all imagine we are seeds. You can pick which kind. Maybe you're a basil seed or a squash seed or a pepper or a sunflower. Now imagine it is late winter and we seeds are resting just beneath the surface of the ground. Maybe you want to hug yourself, scrunch up tight like a safe little seed. We are surrounded by cool, dark soil with everything we need in this whole little package with nutrients and the blueprint for who we will become. It's all already here. But remember, seeds don't stay seeds. They are meant to become something else. Basil seeds become basil plants. Sunflower seeds become sunflowers. The seeds are always preparing to become something else, just like we are. And something that may look entirely different from the form we are in now. Seeds are little grains, and then they burst into an array of different things. So here is where we are called to be brave. Feel the soil start to warm. Imagine that something is waiting for us above the surface. We don't know yet, but a deep wisdom in us senses that there is a life to be lived beyond this darkness. In fact, maybe it is the only true life that we can have outside this space of confinement. Do we say yes to this life? We do. So we begin to reach out, reach up, stretching up and up with our hands. And here we are. We've changed shape entirely. Try to feel in your body what it's like to be this new thing, not a seed, but a plant. I see some people waving their limbs in the air, like branches or leaves or petals. We, little sprouts and seedlings, are ready to go. What are you becoming? Do you feel a yearning in yourself to grow big and tall, maybe to crawl along the ground, to flower or fruit? Notice what it took to get here. You had to break through the crust of the earth, even though it was hard and you did not know what was on the other side. Maybe you weren't even sure you were going in the right direction. You had to leave the safety of your shell behind. And you may have noticed you were not the only one. How does it feel to become something new and big when not too long ago you were a still small seed? Breathe deeply again, reveling in the joy of transformation. Thank you, everyone. If your eyes were closed, I invite you to open them again. And remember, just like the seed that becomes the plant in the springtime, there is an inner wisdom in each of us, a yearning to grow and transform. And just like seeds, we are meant to rise. Even when the soil is heavy, the way is hard, we don't know if we're even going in the right direction. We rise together toward the light. Let us say yes to becoming something new. And one more thing, Marco mentioned that we have some seeds for you. In honor of this Earth Day, I have this gift. They're going to be down here. I'll invite members of the environmental justice group to come meet me so I can let you pass these out. While we sing our closing hymn, the environmental justice group will distribute these small pouches of seeds. They are a flour mix especially suited to feed pollinators. Scatter them on any patch of ground, and if you wish, you can lightly work them into the soil. May these seeds and any flowers they produce be a symbol of your commitment to abundance. Thank you.
So while we'll let you stay seated because of the things getting passed around, and we're going to be singing hymn number 370, All People That on Earth Do Dwell. We won't have the same words that are inside the hymnal, so go ahead and take a look at this. You'll recognize the tune for sure.
Each Sunday, it takes a village to create and share our worship service. I would like to thank all those who made it possible. Scott Farrell, our musicians, John Hanson and Ronnie Bishop, our chorale, Reverend Carter Smith, Riley Anderson, and the Environmental Justice Group, Marco Depe and Lisa Maynard, our chalice lighter, Gracie Bucklew, Nate Mesnard and Henry Sikora up in our booth, our ushers, our hospitality volunteers, and anyone else who helped, who I did not name. As always, it is a pleasure and a blessing to do this sacred work together. Please do make sure to look at your Westside Week, which you will have received on Friday, for details about all that our community is up to. We are just 1 week away from the online start of our annual auction. Be sure to review the online catalog, which is available now, and register to bid. Our auction will culminate with an in-person celebration on Saturday evening, May 3rd, called Groovin' with the Fam. There will be a food truck available where guests can purchase a delicious dinner, games, dancing, and plenty of funky music. Costumes are welcomed and encouraged. And we do have a request calling all bakers. The auction needs you. We are looking for bakers to create 5 fabulous cakes, which will be auctioned off by the slice. We also need volunteers to provide goodies for the free dessert buffet, such as cookies, brownies, and fruit plates. Please contact Paula Van Hagen or visit the auction table today during social hour to sign up or learn more. Our next Sunday service will be next week on April 27th, exploring mystical spirituality with Reverend Carter Smith and Rick Taylor. Finally, before we all go downstairs to coffee hour, please remain here in the sanctuary for our annual photo of all of us in the Easter hats and finery. Of course, you don't need a hat to be in the photo. Do what you do.
I will invite everyone to rise one last time in body and or spirit for our closing words. But before that, I wanted to give a note of appreciation Jill Fleming, who has served as our worship associate today and has served in many roles in this community, is going to be moving to Olympia pretty shortly. This is her last time serving as worship associate. Jill, it's hard to see you. I know that you have given so much of yourself in service to this community. It has been a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug? Our closing words are from Rev. M. Jade Kaiser. They write, "Keep your proclamations of grandeur. Give me an Easter as small as a seed, one that can be planted while it's still cold outside, one that can be watered with tears, that demands time and patience to grow. I don't need to know how large it will become, how long until it blossoms, or even if it will be pretty. I only want it to grow roots that dig deep down, striving for life in the underbelly of the world. Spare me the cosmic promises of otherworldly escape and point me to the sacred possibilities within reach. Tell me again about how the nutrients born from decay keep even the saddest places brimming with the potential for life. Give me an Easter as small as a seed." And now I'll invite Gracie to release our flame. As they do so, may you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.
We just want to get them off of the.
Okay, so we're going to do this in a little more organized fashion this year. If you're a tall individual, can you please head to the back onto the steps where the choirs stand? And you can define tall as you wish. So the taller folks are going to be standing near the back on the risers where the choir chairs usually are. So if you categorize yourself as a taller person, or you have a really tall hat, please head to the back. If you're a person of average height, please come and stand in the center of the chancel. Yeah.
And while we're assembling, we're going to sing Happy Birthday to Scott.